We have a minute.
Hey, here we
We have a full minute before the show actually starts. It's kind of like an exciting time. It's sort of like being in the wings here. We're behind the scenes. The show's ready to take off. We're doing a live broadcast on Facebook right now. Look at that, camera to camera. Isn't that something? It's like standing between two mirrors, isn't it? Unbelievable.
So we're getting ready to go.
I don't know if it's unbelievable.
Are you guys playing at home?
47.
30 seconds, 30 seconds. Make up, everyone. 30 seconds.
Make up.
Me, 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 me. Let's vocalize. Me, 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 me.
13.
Okay. How many seconds down? 27. Wow, it seems like it was longer.
4.
Look, it's Friday. That's all we really need to know. Okay?
4.
3,
All right.
2, now
How many people are watching on Facebook, by the way?
1 right now.
All right.
Hey, it's all for you. It's all for you.
Watching on the
Three.
internet.
We have 3.
Here we go.
Wait, makeup.
We have 3. Where are the rest of you?
Beer.
It's
They're
all for
coming.
you.
They're coming. Lindo's got his pink headphones on. Woo-hoo.
And now, the two-time winner of the Pennsylvania Association of Broadcasters Award and the two-time winner of the Pennsylvania Associated Press Broadcasters Association Award, promoting and advancing the craft and microbrew culture in Northeast Pennsylvania. This is another edition of the Friday Beer Buzz!
And the Friday Beer Buzz. We're live, by the way, on Facebook. So come on over and take a look. You can see and not just hear. Anyway, the Friday Beer Buzz, powered by Sabatini's Pizza in Exeter, one of the area's greatest selections of rare, craft, and imported beers. Growlers and crowlers, a hand pump.
Oh, my.
And 35 rotating drafts at Sabatini's
Never
Pizza
disappoints. Never.
And
I know.
Sabatini's Bar and Bottle Shop, Wyoming Avenue in Exeter.
All right, Lindo Sabatini's in the house. Hi, Lindo.
I've never had so much fun as
Isn't it
listening
fun?
to the introduction today. Was fantastic. Just a blast.
Yeah, it was a pretty good introduction there. And I think a big part of it was when I went, I think that was really exciting. Anyway, Bill from mybeerbuzz.com.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Bill.
Have we actually ever timed out the whole intro to see how much time we use for just the intro?
Looks like we're coming up on 2 minutes worth of intro.
Hey,
right
there
now.
we go. In that light, we do have a guest.
Yeah, we do. Here we go.
Coming to us from Bloomington, Indiana, from Upland Brewing Company. Today we have their president, Doug Dayhoff. Welcome to the Friday Beer Buzz, Doug.
Dayhoff. Yay, Doug.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
Sure, you bet.
So, Doug, Upland opened in 1998 time frame. What made you decide to open a brewery?
Well, yeah, so it was founded by a friend of mine actually in '98, and I was just a big fan through the first few years. And one day I was sitting in the pub and he said, "Yeah, I'm thinking about selling the business." And I said, "Well, Mark, I'd really be interested in it." So I've been involved in that was 10 years ago. So I've been involved for 10 years now, and just have had a blast during the whole run.
And you know, Doug, we haven't really compiled the stats, but it seems like so many life-changing decisions have been made over a beer or two or three.
That was a fast one. In fact, I'm actually standing in the pub right next to the table where it happened. Believe it or not,
you got to put a little plaque on there or something. Some kind of, you have to indicate that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
Tell me where the name comes from. I understand there's a glacier involved.
Well, yeah. So anybody that's traveled through Indiana and through the central part of Indiana and the northern part knows it's really flat agricultural state. But here in the southern part where Bloomington is, it's really quite hilly, almost kind of Appalachian. And the Norman uplands and the Crawford uplands are the geologic term for the geology in this area. So that's where the name came from.
Uh-huh. And probably a little bit unrelated here, but you guys don't pay attention to daylight savings time or something. Is that correct?
Actually, you know what? Indiana got on the boat
right?
a few years back.
Oh,
So
no,
now we're on it. So we're Eastern time. We're lined up with you guys,
All right.
and
I was trying to figure out if there's like a 7-hour time difference here or what kind of thing we got going here. And I guess so we're about the same. That works out.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a drive from there to here, but we're all on the same time.
All right, very good.
So about 4 years ago, Doug, you guys created a new production facility. Tell us about that, because it's a pretty drastic change from the original facility.
Right. So like a lot of breweries, we started with a brewery and a pub that was co-located. We brewed in the back, served it out the front, and that managed to get us to about 10,000 barrels. And then we had to expand, and we made the decision to build a production brewery a couple miles away. So That was actually right around 2012. So we've got a beautiful 45,000 square foot production facility that has enabled us to really not just increase the quantity of beer we make, but increase the quality of the beers too. So that's probably what we're most proud of.
37,000 square feet. That's a little bit larger than my basement. So you got a lot of room to grow there.
Yeah, absolutely. But I guess the other exciting news is just last weekend we had a grand opening for a much smaller brewery right next door to the original pub, which is 6,000 square feet of barrel and wood tank foeder cellar to support our sour program. So that's the other, if anybody comes to visit us, we've got a beautiful, just a really beautiful facility full of foeders and a few hundred barrels that's going to allow us to build our sour program as well.
I think we ought to just get in the car.
Yeah, I know. It's the same time zone. We can get there.
That's right.
Same time zone, exactly.
And that's called the Wood Shop, Doug?
That's the wood shop, yeah.
Yeah, and so there's no... I was thinking there are saws and sandy machines involved. It's all about the foeders.
It's about the foeders. We started actually brewing sour beers about 10 years ago. In fact, it was exactly the time that I got involved. And so we've done that sort of on a shoestring with cramming barrels into a little nearby building for 10 years, and we finally made the leap this past year and built a great facility, added, I guess we've got 400 barrel foeders, 4 60 barrel foeders, and 4 30 barrel foeders as well, in addition to 400 or 500 wine and bourbon barrels that are part of that program. So it's a lot of wood, and all of our sour program is built on long fermentations on wood. Even though we've got nothing against kettle souring, and we make some kettle sour beers as well, but this program's all based on sort of classic Belgian style fermentation on wood.
And a foeder is a giant wooden tank, essentially. For those people that aren't familiar with that, it's a giant wooden tank, and I think, Doug, and I'm sure you guys agree, it imparts a completely different characteristic to a beer, completely different flavors to a beer, even in some cases different carbonation to a beer.
Yeah, right. So the microbes that we use to make our sour beers are very different than the yeast that we use over in the core brewery. So there's all sorts of flavor dimensions that you get out of those different types of yeasts and bacteria, and that it propagates itself through the wood tanks and barrels from one batch to the next. So as I said, we've been doing this for 10 years, and we paid some fool's tax along the way, but I think we've also figured out how to make some really nice beers.
And so what's the process? You call a meeting and say, here's what I want, or is it a collaborative thing? You have like a brewmaster who says, why don't we try? How do you guys put things together?
Yeah, so we've always been kind of a collaborative team approach. It's not a micromanage, not a egomaniac micromanager here. That's not how we operate. So we've got a...
Well, maybe things will change once you put the plaque on that table, but...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. The minute I get some respect, I would run it that way. Trust me. Nice. We've got a team of 4 brewers in our core production brewery that do recipe development. We work together kind of as a senior team to make decisions about what we're doing product line, and then the brewers themselves get a handful of probably 10 or 15 beers every year that they can make whatever they want out of it. And then in our sours program, we've got another team of 4 guys who brew, make decisions about blending, and recipe development, product line. That one is way... I mean, we're just experimenting all over the board in the sour side. So I think this year we'll come out with 25 or 30 different beers on that side of the program.
Wow.
I've seen a lot of labels coming out, a lot of interesting stuff coming. We're actually featuring sort of a historic beer, in at least a historic in Indiana. And it's a beer that you guys brought back based on a 1902-ish recipe. Our beer today is Champagne Velvet beer. And tell us first a little bit about the history of this beer, Doug.
Right. So Champagne Velvet was the flagship beer of the Terre Haute Brewing Company, which was a late 19th century up until the 50s or 60s brewery here in Indiana. And the Champagne Velvet Pilsner beer was first brewed in 1902, and we actually have the handwritten brewer's journal where he worked out the mash recipe for that beer back in 1902. It's really cool to kind of hold that piece of paper and see his handwriting.
That is. That's
Walter.
I mean, talk about tracing the history all the way back to right into your hands.
Yeah. It's his name was Walter Braun. His family immigrated here from Germany, from the Tettnang region of Germany. And so when we were trying to recreate, this kind of goes back a couple of years ago when it was our 15th anniversary, and we thought, rather than brewing a new Upland beer for our 15th anniversary, why don't we kind of celebrate the 150 years of regional brewing? Because I think sometimes it's easy to forget that we're kind of walking in the footsteps of giants. And in the Midwest and in Indiana, there was no bigger giant that kind of plowed the field before us than Terre Haute Brewing Company and the Champagne Velvet brand in particular. So it ended up being about a 400,000 barrel beer, back when there were only 100 million people in the country. So if you think about that, kind of extrapolate forward today, that'd be like a 1.2 million barrel beer.
Yeah, really.
In today's world. So anyway, it was, in the consolidation when Terre Haute Brewing Company sold to the Evansville Brewing Company, that sold to the Pittsburgh Brewing Company, that then sold to the Pabst Brewing Company. It was just, the consolidation and industrialization in the 50s and 60s ultimately led to Champagne Velvet not being brewed anymore, and it was just a trademark sitting in the Pabst IP portfolio, and a local guy researched that, somehow made his way through all the attorneys and bought the brand out from Pabst, and he was going to try to do something with it for a few years and wasn't able to, and then we came across him and said, this would be a great project for our 15th anniversary. So we originally tried to recreate as faithful as we could to what that beer would have tasted like, or how it would have been. Well, of course, you can't do it how it was brewed, because that was back in 1902. That was pre-electricity and everything else. So, but tried to do a faithful recreation of that beer and brought that out for our anniversary. And then this year, we are kind of making it a big mainstay in our line, and we just think it's the right thing to kind of honor this beer, and it's.
I think it's a great story. I mean, to be able to for an anniversary, you always see these breweries coming out with these monster imperial stouts or whatever. But to be able to bring back some history from your local area and have a great pilsner in your lineup as well is fantastic to hit both at the same time.
And Doug, I don't think I'm sticking my neck out too far when I say this beer has $1 million flavor.
Yeah, that was it was a great. I mean,
oh wait, it says that right on the
they
can.
were marketers. In addition to being great brewers, they were great marketers. and that tagline, the beer with the $1 million flavor,
that's
was
a thing
their
of beauty.
tagline.
That's a thing of beauty.
And the recipe is supposedly at least insured for $1 million. So that's where some of that came from. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds kind of corny now, and I'm sure it was corny then too. But they back when $1 million meant something, back 100 years ago.
Hey, if you got a loose $1 million laying around, I'll be happy to take it off your hands, Doug.
5.5% ABV, 29 IBU, 16-ounce cans. It's a really nice beer, and as you guys say, it's the perfect everyday beer for craft drinkers and the perfect step-up beer for domestic drinkers. It's that sort of gateway beer we talk about all the time.
Yeah.
Really, really nice beer.
Yeah, it is, Doug. Doug, we're out of time, I'm sorry to say, but we're enjoying the beer, Champagne Velvet, and it's been a pleasure having you on the show this morning.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, Doug.
Good stuff.
Continued success, Doug. Thanks for playing.
Thanks for playing with us in the morning. The WILK Friday Beer Buzz, powered by Sabatini's Pizza in Exeter, one of the area's greatest selections of rare craft and imported beers. Growlers and crowlers, a hand pump, and 35 rotating drafts, all at Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bar and Bottle Shop, Wyoming Avenue in Exeter.
Friday Beer Buzz, bringing good beers and good people together.
It may be a commercial.